Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I've been highlighting and contouring my face lately, so if you want to see how I do that, keep watching. Okay, so I already applied my Revlon Color Stay Foundation in the shade Buff all over my face, and I'm going to be contouring with the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD Concealer, and this one is called Toffee. I know you can't see, but that's what it's called. So I'm just going to take this and apply it just underneath my cheekbones, and this is a really dark color. So I'm applying just a little tiny amount, and you'll see later that I'm going to blend the hell out of this. And then I'm putting just a couple little tiny dots up by my temple too that I'll be blending out as well. Okay, so here I am blending out the color a little bit with a brush from Crown Brush. Just kind of pushing it around my face a little bit so that I can blend it out now with my beauty blending sponge. So here's what my contour looks like all blended out. Next I'm going to add a little bit of the Pro Conceal from LA Girl Cosmetics in Classic Ivory. And I'm going to be using this just to cover up any little like imperfections. So I have a couple breakouts, so I'm just kind of covering up those. And then I'm also kind of drawing a little bit of a line underneath my contour with this as well, just to kind of sharpen up the contour a little bit. I would use the LA Girl concealer to highlight my face, but they actually don't make one that's light enough for me, unfortunately. So yeah, I use this just kind of to cover up any little imperfections around because I really love the consistency of this concealer. So next I'm going to be highlighting my face with the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. The shade that I use is NW15, and I put just one pump on the back of my hand, and that's usually enough to highlight my whole face. And the reason I use the NW15 is because I like the more warm pink tone to it underneath my eyes. It helps to really cover any of that darkness under there really well, at least for me. So I'm drawing a triangular shape underneath my eyes with this Pro Longwear concealer, and then I'm just blending it out with my beauty blending sponge. Drawing this triangular shape helps to highlight the points of your face that your face will naturally highlight. So you want to start from the corner of your eye down to the corner of your nose, and then go diagonally upwards along your cheekbone. And I'll show you again on this side. So now I'm going to apply a couple other highlights on my face. I'm going to be applying to the center of my chin, on my Cupid's bow, the corners of my mouth, because I feel like that gives me kind of a little bit more of a smiley effect, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, but I suffer from chronic bitch face. So when I do that, it tends to give me a little bit more of a happy face. I don't know. You can tell me. So I'm also putting a little bit of the concealer on the middle of my forehead and then right down the very center of my nose. I don't do a whole lot of contouring to my nose because truthfully I don't really hate it, but it helps when I highlight just a little bit, at least for videos. And I'm also putting a little bit of a highlight into the corners of my mouth because I do get kind of really harsh laugh lines, I guess. I mean, I'm really young, but still, I get them. So it makes me feel better to put highlight there. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to be putting a cream blush on my cheeks. This is a cream blush from NARS, and it's called Penny Lane. This is a really great cream blush for any of you who are really pale like I am. And I'm going to be using the Stila number 33 brush to apply, and I'm just putting this on the apples of my cheeks and then blended backwards into my contour. Okay, so I'm going to set all of my cream products now with powders, and I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette to set the concealer under my eyes. I'm going to be using the lightest shade in the palette that's matte, and I'm going to be taking this on a small little detail brush, and I'm going to just set the concealer under my eyes with this. I'm going to set the foundation on the rest of my face with the Estee Lauder Lucidity Translucent Loose Powder in Light. I really love this powder. It sets all of my foundation, but it gives me kind of a satin finish to my skin instead of looking super, super matte. I am oily, so I like to be matte, but I don't like to look really incredibly matte. So I'm using the Hair and Makeup Addiction Multitasker brush, which is another one of my favorite things ever. And I just take this powder and put it all over. Okay, so now I'm going to be setting my contour with more contour, and I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette again, and I'm going to be using the color in the center, which I'm pretty sure is called Fawn, but it's the cool color in the palette. Because I'm fair, I tend to favor more cool tones on me in terms of contour. Warm tends to warm me up a little bit too much, and I don't really prefer looking tan. So that being said, I like to use more cool tones when I'm contouring. So now I'm going to be contouring my nose with the same color from the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. I'm going to be using a brush from Hair and Makeup Addiction that is called the Highlighter. And I'm going to be taking just a little, very, very tiny little amount of this and putting it just down the sides of my nose. Again, I don't really particularly contour my nose on a daily basis because I don't hate the shape of my nose, but for this video, just because I'm showing an in-depth contour, I figure I might as well show you how I would do it on a daily basis if I did do it on a daily basis. So I just go down the sides of my nose, and then I kind of shorten my nose a little bit too, because if I was to choose something I didn't like about my nose, it would be the length of my nose. So I shorten it a little bit, go down the sides, and then I'm just taking the brush that I use to set my powder, set my concealer under my eyes, and I'm just blending out the color. So here I'm going to be applying a little bit more of that color from the Anastasia palette right underneath the center of my bottom lip. This is really optional, but I like to do this because I feel like it makes my bottom lip look a little bit more pouty and a little bit bigger. So I just put a little tiny amount there, and then I'm also going to put a really tiny small amount in the very dead center of my Cupid's bow where it's got sort of a dip, just to accentuate the Cupid's bow a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to be applying a blush. I'm going to be using Deep Throat from NARS, which is a really pretty shimmery kind of warmer pink. I'm going to be using a brush from Hair and Makeup Addiction to do this, and I'm using just a really small amount just because I already had a little bit of that NARS cream blush underneath there. So it's just adding a tad bit more color and definitely a lot of shine. Okay, so my last step is going to be to add a little bit of a highlight. I'm going to be using a deluxe contour brush from Crown Brush, and the highlight color that I'm using is a Mineralize skin finish from MAC called Soft and Gentle. And you can really see that that's adding a whole lot of shine to my face. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this Mineralized Skin Finish to my Cupid's bow, and that is going to conclude my highlighting and contouring video. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I will see you guys next time.